That kind of put me in a place where I was isolated, if you could say that. This is the reason why I'm saying this story from the beginning so that you can kind of understand where I'm coming from as a young adult. Let's do this, shall we? I don't want this video to be a sad one. I'm going to try as much as possible to kind of summarize my journey thus far as an adult, right? But I feel like before we get there, we need to first of all understand me. Let's start from the beginning. Who am I? Who is Dr. Daydun? Who is Adedumola? Who is she? I was born in 1992, so that makes me 33 years old. And that also makes me a millennial if you're going by generation tags, right? I was born into a family of two brothers, which makes me the only girl. Don't worry, I wasn't pampered like that. Mm-mm. I grew up mostly with my mom because one, my first brother had to leave Nigeria around the time I was born, and then two, my second brother, I grew up with him till he was a teenager, I think, and then he had to also leave for his studies abroad. So for the most part, I was in between home and boarding house as a young girl. My friends were mostly the ones I made in school. My childhood was pretty decent. I'm very happy about that. My mom tried her best to give us the best that she could. Let's fast forward to the journey to being a medical doctor. I can never forget that day. Like, it's literally a core memory for me. My two brothers are engineers. My mom is also a trained engineer. She retired as a civil engineer. So I remember that particular day, my second brother and my mom, they sat me down because I was so adamant that I wanted to study abroad. I was like, Mommy, my two brothers, you send them abroad now. Why is it now me that you're telling me I should go to Igbinejo University? I said, I'm not going. I'm going to go abroad and I'm going to work for the abroad, right? So I got admission to University of Debrecen in Hungary. And then when the admission letter came in, before we started the whole visa processing, and they asked me, he said, Mola, are you sure you want to study medicine? So I think this will answer the question of people that usually ask me that, did they force you to study medicine? No, I forced myself to study medicine because I always knew I wanted to be a doctor as a child. I was in a science class because of that reason. I didn't go to arts even though I was really good with literature and English. I really wanted to be a medical doctor. So when they asked me, they wanted me to explain why everything, I said this is what I believe my calling was as a child, as an adult. So let me just pursue it, right? And then the admission I got was for foundation course. It wasn't for the medical school straight away. When I started the foundation course in Hungary, which was where I eventually did my medicine, for some reason, biology was not giving. No. Physics was doing very well. Chemistry, I was above average, but physics, I was an excellent student in physics. Very good. But biology, I was having difficulty with it. Because of the notion from secondary school that you have to really know biology to say you wanted to study medicine. So I kind of felt like, are you sure I'm not an imposter like this in this medical school? Are you sure I'm actually going to get the admission into first year? So I started asking myself a lot of questions to kind of give up on medicine. And then one day in second semester of my foundation year, I called my mom after I've done research on, schools I could transfer to within Hungary to study engineering. Because I kind of felt maybe physics, engineering is my calling. Even though I didn't even know the field of engineering I wanted to do, all I knew was I think maybe I should have listened to my family instead and studied that engineering because I had the grades for it too. And I remember calling my mom. I said, Mommy, it was in Yoruba, and I said, Mommy, I don't think I can do well in medical school. Please, I want to switch to um, a university in, what's it called? Budapest. Don't worry about it. The school fees is not ridiculously different. I'm going to be fine. I'll just navigate it. Ha! For the first time in my life, my mother shouted at me. She didn't want to listen to anything I wanted to say. She just started saying everything she could say, blah 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 blah. Who forced you? It was literally a fight, and I think that was probably the first fight I had with my mom as a young adult, because she just didn't want to listen to me, and I could understand later on where it came from, because well, nobody forced me to do this medicine. Nobody said you must go to hungry. Now you say you won't go hungry. Now you say you want study medicine. So why can't they come in now? Quarter to finish. Oh well, quarter to almost starting. That you want to change to engineering. So obviously I definitely understood that part. And after that fight, I was like, you know what? No problem. I'll just do it. Like literally, I just said no problem, I'll just do it. Because that fight was really heated. And it was over the phone. She's in Nigeria, I was in Hungary. It got to a point that I didn't pick up her calls. She had to call all my friends to come and check in on me. Yeah, it was that serious and dramatic. But after that call, I just pushed on, got my grades for biology, and I got promoted to start medical school proper. And this was in 2010. So when I came home for summer, that 2010, I gave my mom the new admission letter, and in it to show you the tuition fee, right? So the tuition fee I paid for foundation was definitely different from the tuition fee I'll pay for medical school, right? But for some strange reasons, my mom already planned that that school fees will be the consistent school fees till I graduate medical school. And should I tell you, it was about 2.5 increment, like 250% increment from what I paid for foundation year. So that was a big shocker for her, right? Financially. But for some reason, she said, okay, no problem. I have the one for first year. Let's see. I'll pay it, sorted it out, everything. Mind you, I should get back to when I started in Hungary in 2009. Immediately I got to Hungary, maybe some 2 or 3 weeks after, I already started making hair. So it was something I used to do for my cousin when I was younger. And then when I got to secondary school, I was also assisting the hairdresser that came to make the girls' hair in the girls' hostel. So that made me polish my skills with braiding hair and doing twists and whatnot. So my third week in Hungary had started braiding hair for a service, right? As a service, and got paid for it. I remember the first time I was paid, I was like, I can pay like this. And by the time I converted it to naira, it felt like, oh, okay, okay, this is decent. So that kind of motivated me to keep on breathing. And before you knew it, I started making money. I was already known in the student community as the new student that makes hair and whatnot, right? So fast forward to my first year of medical school, everything was going great up until I think the second or third, no, second semester rather. I think everything was going down to one particular exam. Was this cell biology? I can't remember. There was an exam that I finally took to see chance or so, and that kind of shook me. I was like, "Huh? I cannot repeat. I cannot. I cannot fail because once you fail, the rule in Hungary was the school fees you start with is the school fees you graduate with, provided you do not fail or repeat a class. So if you repeat a class and you get to the lower class, what that means is you're going to pay the school fees of that class. So that means you forfeited your cheaper school fees and you're not going to pay a higher school fees. But the good part is they don't increase it until like every 2 years. So you might be lucky enough that the class lower than you is still paying the same amount as you. So I already knew the class above me was paying the same amount as I am. I was rather. So I knew if I repeat, I'm definitely going to pay another like a higher school fees. I think about $2,000 higher. So that kind of put fear in me that girl, you cannot fail. You must pass. So miraculously I was able to um finish that exam and I got promoted to my second year. Long and short story of the whole thing is my medical school was very challenging. Normal is medical school, Abi. But me, with my coconut head, I was like, I'm going to add multiple businesses. So from the hair business that I started in 2009, by 2011, I had gotten interest in cake baking just for the fun of it. Like I was actually just trying it because I had the equipment and tools around me when I moved to a new apartment, and that curbed like my interest to just try trial and error, even to the point that cupcakes were very solid and hard. I still ate it with my cup of coffee. Yeah, that was 2011, and then by 2012, the little hobby suddenly became a business thanks to a customer from the hair business. So the hair business kind of gave birth to the cake business. But in between that time, I was also cooking on a low key for a few friends around that knew that I had like the ingredients to cook Nigerian food because it doesn't matter where you throw me, I'm gonna carry Nigerian food along. Even if it's Atlantica, I will carry it in dry form and take it there to cook. So I always had the ingredients to cook Nigerian food. Is it elubo? Is it dry pepper, egusi, smoked fish, bala, pomo, everything dried, well, atagungun, snail. At some point, I was even selling some of my ingredients because they were too much for me to use. And yeah, so I was also selling food ingredients. Then I was also helping one of my friends sell weaves. So she would import it from Nigeria. Then because I was the hairdresser, I was the one selling it. Because of course, when customers come, they ask, "What do you have? What do you have?" And then I'll sell it. So that was also bringing me passive income. Because obviously I was a reseller, so I was making profits of selling the hair for her, and I'll remit the money that's supposed to be remitted to her. So that was going on through medical school. I was passing my exams, but I can tell you for a fact that doing that was a struggle. When I mean struggle, I mean a real struggle because I basically had lesser time for my personal interest outside of school and outside of business. So that kind of put me in a place where I was isolated, if you could say that. This is the reason why I'm saying this story from the beginning so that you can kind of understand where I'm coming from as a young adult. Because of that, I was mostly isolated. During winter is even the worst time. You might even not see me in some classes that are not compulsory. Even the ones that are compulsory, sometimes I'll tell one of my friends to just sign in for me, just so I can get some time to sleep. Um, yeah, I think I was successful in medical school because of the people around me, people that were in my class, people that were in my year, people I could study with. Like that really helped push me through the days where I felt I couldn't push on. I was able to navigate medical school because I had to strike a balance between business, personal life, and school. But obviously, personal life felt the brunt of the excesses that I had to deal with businesses. Um, but lo and behold, by the time I got to, I think my fourth year, there was a particular course that was making it difficult for my life, and that was preventive medicine. I don't know why. I just did not like that course. Was it? Yeah, it was preventive. Yeah, it was preventive that had epidemiology. So because of epidemiology, it was difficult for me to pass that exam. I was like, oh, I beg. And it wasn't fully compulsory. I think in fourth year, you have to complete it by fifth year. So because of that reason, I was like, oh, please, I'll complete it in fifth year. So I just kind of left that one. Um, and it dropped my grade obviously because I left it last minute, which was during the exam period. So it dropped my GPA. But it was not around that time that I realized that I've been doing well financially for myself. I didn't need anything from home anymore at this point. I was, you can say, self sufficient as a student. The only thing that they did pay for was my school fees because obviously that was a very high amount. I wasn't sufficient enough for that. But in terms of upkeep, rent, and whatnot, I had to tell them that don't stress yourself. All you have to do is just help me just look for money to pay my school fees. And I'm so happy that my family came through for me while I was in medical school. They understood my journey. Nobody questioned me and said, Dumola, go and read your book. Why are you baking cake? Why are you making hair? I didn't ever get any feedback like that from my family. So that also encouraged me to push on because they were saying that this girl was working hard and it was showing results, not only in school, but financially. So if she can handle both of it, was wrong. I lived my life the way I wanted to, but I should also mention again that it was majorly in isolation. So at this point, I had friends around here, but not in depth to the point where they really knew what was going on with me. I think at some point in time, I told everyone I had traveled to the UK, but I was in my house for like 2 days straight. I just wanted to lock myself in and just be on my own. So that was how shielded I was as a student in Hungary, which is already a foreign land with no family. Around that time of fourth year was when I realized that, hmm, this medicine I'm doing, are you sure this will be my career for the longest time till I retire? So I started thinking about it from that moment, like, babe, what do you really want to do with your life? What do you want to do with career progression? What are you really interested in? Because remember, you wanted to drop out from foundation year to go do engineering, and then you found yourself in business as a student, a solo business, running three businesses at a time alone. From cooking and baking, from baking, I booked appointments for hair. Yeah, I started to ask myself the hard questions because it was like less than 2 years to the finality of medical school, and reality was beginning to set in. Where do you want to live? Those kind of like hardcore questions. So by my fifth year, I don't think there was anything major happening in fifth year, to be honest, other than everybody was just looking forward to the end of classes because our final year was mostly for rotations, clinical rotations. So by my sixth year, by this time I was blogging. I should mention I was already blogging. I had a blog where I was blogging not only cake recipes, I was blogging personal life and whatnot, right? Then by 2016, I'd gotten like a considerable amount of non-hungry viewers on my blog. So that started sparking interest on what I was doing as a person, as a medical student, as a business person, and whatnot. And I remember someone reached out to me from Ghana wanting to interview me, but at the time I had not finished my medical school. She thought I had, so that kind of just fell by the wayside because she wanted to interview a doctor and not a medical student. But that approach just kind of opened my eyes to the fact that I had a story to share. Yeah, I had a story to share because it had captured interest. I should also mention that by my fifth year, I started makeup because I enrolled in a course that got me certified as a makeup artist. So I started doing makeup for students around for events. For this particular business, it wasn't as busy as much because, like I said, I was already cut out to finish medical school, and this was also a new business I was introducing. So I didn't really have that much audience and time to really do makeup like extensively, but I did a bit of it. Fast forward to sixth year when I finally finished my board exam and I became a doctor officially before graduation. My story got out there, and that was thanks to one popular blog, Stella Demococcus, and Stella Niger. So those two blogs, the story blew, and I became a viral sensation online. People were wondering, how can a medical student do all of this? So I think that was really the spark that lit fire in people. The fact that I was a medical student and I was able to juggle four businesses. Four. I did three extensively till my fifth year, and then the fourth one came in around the end of fifth year. That was a story people were really plugged in to listen to. Like, how did you do it? How did you do it? I mean, I'm there smiling behind my laptop, and I'm asking myself the same question. Tumola, how did you do it? I think that's the beauty in determination and the fact that you have to hold yourself accountable for every decision you make. So there was no point in time where I felt I was being forced to do something. I had to hold myself accountable to know I was deciding to do something, right? So if I fail at it, it is my failure and not a failure inspired by other people's opinion of my work. So I think that was how I was able to navigate through because I had to tell myself, you're not going to fail your school, you're not going to fail your class. So what are you going to do to make sure that you pass? What are you going to do to also make sure you don't go broke? Because mind you, I'm now in charge of everything financing my personal life in school outside of school fees. So I had two obligations to myself: make money, make school. There was no either or. It was you have to get both done. So that determination to make sure that I had money and I had school going on successfully definitely fueled my drive to push through and be successful in both. I did it and I did it well and I did it successfully.